Hey everybody, what is going on? Hexlex here. I got another Master Duel video for you, and it's Monday, which of course means it is once again time for one of our weekly viewer specials. I think you all know the drill by now, but if you're new to the series and don't, then here's how we do things. Every single Monday, I like to showcase replays from you all, the viewers. That way we can see a ton of new decks, ones that I don't necessarily always have time to play or learn necessarily, and also just a great way to cheer each other on, see what we're up to as far as our cool games and our cool builds that we're playing those games with. So if you're interested in submitting for the viewer special, here's how you're going to want to do it. You'll want to go to the description below among those links, which you should check out all of them. One of them is going to be our Discord invite server. That's going to be the Hexlexplex. Once you're there, go down to the Master Duel section. There is a channel called Viewer Special Submissions there. There you're going to want to leave your 9-digit player ID, as well as the date and time of your replay so that I know specifically which one you want me to watch. You could also leave your opponent's name as well. If you have multiple replays, multiple different ones, I will definitely be up for watching as many as you want to submit, as long as they're all different. I just ask that we don't submit the same game, week after week. But yeah, that's pretty much all there is to it. Like I said, we do this every single week. I can only feature so many people per week, but I do go through pretty much everything that is submitted. So there's always the next week if you didn't get in this one, and I did probably watch your replay even if you didn't get in. So there is that. Yeah, I think that's all I got for the opening spiel. So let's go ahead and start watching your games. Alright, first one comes to us from Zine, or Zine? I'm assuming Zine like magazine. Either way, Night Mango over on the Discord server, I think was their name. Let me double check that too. Yes, Night Mango has a submission with Ice Jade Crystron. Unfortunately, because this was a WCQ or a WCS qualifiers game, I'm not able to actually look at the deck list, although if it's the same list as this one here, possibly. I don't see very many Ice Jade monsters here, but in any case, I wanted to see some Crystron action for sure, because I have not built this deck. I'm a little on the fence about whether or not I want to build it. I think I might actually build a different deck instead that I have in mind, but either way, I did want to get some Crystron action in here, so let's go ahead and take a look at this game from the WCS qualifiers. It's a going second game, and I believe we're playing against MathMech. According to the description, we're going to be breaking a MathMech board, so let's get on into it. I haven't actually watched the Crystron combo line play out yet. I'm just really not familiar with this deck at all, so maybe once I see it in action, I might be a little more inclined to try it, but I don't know. Like I said, I do have another deck in mind that I want to build that's not from this pack. I don't know if I want to say just yet which one. I don't know if I want to spoil it, but anyway. Wow, this MathMech player opened very, very well. They have circular and diameter, which means that they'll get access to the ability to not only chain block their circular, but they can also use the diameter to make Almbersion and insulate themselves from hand traps for this entire combo line. Now, we don't have any hand traps to use against them, but I see Terratop, I see Triple Tax, so I think this hand's at least decent. I don't know if Tristeros, I know this is one of the new cards here. I don't know if this is inherently a one-card starter or not. Again, I really don't know much about the Crystron archetype. MathMech I know plenty about, and it looks like they're setting up a pretty typical inboard here. Oh wait, no, they're going for Heat Soul? Interesting. Opting to go for Heat Soul over the, Oh wait, hang on, Leap Dakota hasn't come back yet, so maybe they'll draw and then still go into Terahertz? Oh wow, they're going to get to go into Terahertz and Heat Soul, and still keep up their Omni. Wow, good for them. Terahertz Stumping D-Save Worm, they're going to set 2, including the Super Factorial. Alright. Alright, we're going to lead with Special Summon Terratop. They're going to chain the Heat Soul. They should have done the Strange Draw Phase, to be honest, but... Terratop, of course, is going to go for Takatomborg. Okay, so this was a normal or a special summon? That was a normal summon. Okay, so we're going to activate Triple Attack. They're going to use the D-Save Worm. We're just getting that out of the way. And then also when they activate an effect, we can go for the Tristeros special summon into synchro effect. Interesting. Alright, so Super Factorial is going to get used here. So here comes Laplacian. It's going to have the diameter, so it'll have the Omni Negate as well. Not as well as Alimbertian. Alimbertian does no longer have the Omni Negate. That only lasts for one turn. Alright, we're going to special summon Crystron Sulfonier and then go for, I'm assuming, the new level 7. No, it's Samurai Destroyer. Not the new level 7 at all, but Samurai Destroyer, which I believe was played in... I think it might have just been Super Heavy Samurai. No, it was some relatively recent deck that was teching this. Oh no, this is a Tenpai tech. What am I saying? Yeah, because it's got the battle effect and it's level 7. That's what it was. Okay. Alright, Location taking the Tristros from hand, and then the Takaton Borg on board is interesting. I guess I just want to get rid of that. Tristros gonna get hit with the Called by here, and then this is kind of a weird time for Terahertz to be activating, unless it's... Okay, it's Pack-Bit. I was gonna say, if this is Aggregator, they definitely should have obviously used it later, but no, it's Pack-Bit Adagnister. Or no, it's not an Adagnister card, it's just Pack-Bit Enigmaster. That's what it is, okay. Gonna push our Samurai Destroyer to the Spell Trap. But then we still get to summon a new Crystron monster, which is going to let us link into Cherubini. Interesting. So we're going to dump a level 3, which is going to be Crystron Smyger, which you can... Oh, banish to add a Crystron monster. That's pretty good. Oh, wait, no, it adds a Spell Trap? Hang on. I thought we... Oh, Solfador banishes to add a monster, and then Smyger... I'm assuming Smyger is probably a tiger, right? Yeah. Is going to add a Spell Trap. The Crystron Inclusion. Let's just add the Crystron Cluster. Okay, Solfador popping the continuous spell to summon. I know the continuous spell does something from the... if you banish it from the graveyard. It's a lot of the reason why this deck plays Clockwork Knight. Yeah, there we go. Inclusion. Looks like it brings back a monster. Oh, it's Solfiner, not Solfador. Oh, I didn't realize we had Cyber Dragon Infinity plays in this deck, but we got 2 level 5 monsters, so... Infinity gobbling up that Terahertz, battling over the Heat Soul, and our Mathmech opponent is in a much more difficult spot now. As with only the 2 Xyz monsters, it's going to be a lot more difficult to build up a board. They do have that Circular in hand, though, but we have this Trap card here, which what does this do? Crystron monsters you control cannot be banished by your opponent's card effects. Target a face-up card in the field if you target 2. If you have a Crystron Synchro, shuffle Crystron, and then pop it. Okay, and then as we pop the G-Golem, they're no longer able to extend their plays, and they're going to concede to us. Wow, that was really good, because that was a very optimized Mathmech end board from the opponent there, and we still pushed through it with the Crystron deck. That was really cool. It seems like they have a lot of graveyard-based effects, and being able to dump a lot of your stuff into the yard is kind of neat. Good stuff. Thank you very much for that game, Zine/Night Mango. But, yeah, alright, we still got a couple more to check out. Let's go into the next one. Alright, this next duel comes to us from Toadette, who has a Mimigul game. You know, we had to see some Mimigul action going on here. There was one in here. Yeah, here it is. Where we're going to be playing against Snake Eye. So I figured, what better way to show off the Mimigul game plan than against the best deck of the format, but here it is. I've played against this a couple of times on ladder. It's a very, very interesting deck. They're running the Kashtira package, so that makes sense. Or we're running the Kashtira package. I thought we were on our opponent's deck for a second. Yeah, I mean, that makes sense. Obviously, it's very, very good with the Mimigul stuff. So I'm very eager to see how this all plays out, like the turn 1 combo line. If we look at our opponent's deck, as we can see, it's a very, very typical Fiendsmith Millennium Snake Eye deck. So yeah, like I said, I don't think there's a much better way we could show off the power of Mimigul. Let's check it out here. Yeah, from my experience playing against the deck, the thing that kind of seems like it sucks about it is that it does fold to a lot of singular hand traps, which... That's just my experience, though, again. In modern Yu-Gi-Oh! Is not really where you want to be. Okay, so we're going to use the field spell to add the dragon. Mimigul armor we're going to set to their field. And then we can special summon dragon to our field. This lets us add the Mimigul Maker, which is, yeah, one of their main spells that, if you're playing against this deck, is a good choke point. Okay, we're going to set Slime to their field. Now, what do Knight and Slime do when they're, or Armor, rather, and Slime do when they're flipped up? Because, of course, the whole gimmick of Mimigul is that you want to set your monsters to their field, and then when they flip up, they have effects that are bad for the person whose field they're on. So, Mimigul monsters cannot be destroyed by battle, and then the other one was Slime. Your opponent can special summon one Mimigul monster from their deck to their field. Okay. Adding the Mimigul Archfiend, which you can then special summon. Flipping up the Mimigul Slime on their field, which lets us summon the Master with a very, very fun animation there. Can be destroyed by battle or card effects while your opponent controls any face-down monsters or you control a Mimigul monster other than Master. When it's summoned to add a Mimigul monster during your opponent's main phase, you can change the position of stuff, so yeah, makes sense. This is also, I think, why you only need one Mimigul Master in the deck, despite it being like kind of one of the boss monsters, is because it really starts to get good mostly when you have other stuff to like flip up and down. Okay, so we set Archfiend to their field, which when flipped up will let us draw a card and then force our opponent to send a card from hand to graveyard. Special summoning the fairy to our field and then linking with the slime in order to go for the IP. Okay. Alright, so it looks like that's going to be our end board. Now the Xyz monster, during the main phase quick effect, you can target a Mimigul Master you control, equip this to it as an equip spell, give it 1,000 attack, and then bounce cards up to the number of materials this card had. So we have quick effect bounce to. We can quick effect flip their stuff face up, so we can trigger those effects when we need to. IP and then the trap card, which special summons from hand, then changes positions of stuff. Okay. Just want to get a total kind of tally of where we're at. Oh, we have the field spell up as well. Wait, did they just flip up both of the monsters? No, you don't want to do that. Ideally, you don't want to do that because you don't get to actually keep the monsters you flip up. That is something else that'll happen, is that they go over to your opponent. So, very easy mistake to make when playing against Mimigul. Okay, so we're gonna imperm our IP for going for the tracks. We've got the Ash Blossom for that. We still have the Bounce 2 available to us as well, but obviously no need to do that yet, or at all, as the opponent is going to be completely out of plays at that point. So there you go. That's a good example of what this deck can do when it pops off, and we did pop off pretty hard against that Snake Eye opponent there. Didn't even really have a chance to fight back. We didn't even need to use all of our disruptions. We also had our IP negated, so like, even if our Snake Eye opponent had like 2 more extenders, which it feels like Snake Eye always has, even if that were the case here, we absolutely still would have been able to counter those and still walk away with the W. So hell yeah, great game. Thank you very much, Shodet. We got at least one more game we're going to take a look at here. Let's go into this next one. And our final game comes to us from Alnick, who's playing Voiceless Voice with Ryug. So, got another new archetype that we're sneaking in here. It's another WCS qualifiers game, so unfortunately I'm not able to see the deck list, but Voiceless Voice with Ryug is something that I've heard about people trying a fair bit, so wanted to check this out. Our opponent here is going to be on Branded, although they had the Alibra icon with the poly icon border, so you might have already been able to guess that. Okay, we're taking the first turn here. We opened Low and Prayers. That's certainly not bad. We get to go Prayers for the Barrier here, Barrier for the Saphira. Gonna activate Saphira's effect to discard. Opponent's got a Bestial Saronir they're gonna chain to against the Saphira. Alright, we still get to mill the Prayers and add the Skull Guardian, though. Gonna activate Prayers F and send the Low that is in hand in order to go for our Skull Guardian here. Which we can then activate Skull Guardian in order to add, there it is, the Sosei Ryuge Mistva. Of course, that being the link between these two archetypes is that the Ryug Mistva is a light dragon ritual monster, which means that it can in fact be added off of the Skull Guardian. So you can actually go one engine into the other. Now we're going to go for the Ryug Warzone here, the field spell, which can get our engine going. Dinosaur, Sea Serpent, and Worm monsters are going to be like the 3 main deck monsters of the Ryug archetype. So that's why this field spell cares about them specifically. Alright, so we're going for a Groudon. I mean Kaiva here. I'm going to use the Kaiva effect in order to put it back and add its respective continuous spell. Ryug Realm Dino Domains. We get to go for the water and the wind here, and the... I didn't know you got all 3, actually. I should have read that field spell more carefully. Getting to summon all 3 here, and then making the Varudras. So yeah, that's pretty solid, right? If you already opened like another extender slash starter in your voiceless hand, if you're playing Ryug, you get to just add a bunch of big level slash rank 10 monsters to your end board as well. Also, whoa, what did our opponent just do? I stopped paying attention for 10 seconds and all of a sudden they have 1 card in hand. Okay, so draw phase, activate New Frontier. New Frontier it doesn't activate its effect, it just resolves. Okay. Albion, dump Branded Retribution to special itself. Normal summon Albaz. Send all 3 for Alba Lanatus. Okay. Sure, that's fine. Now we're going to go for the Varudras effect in order to negate Saronir, as well as pop the Alba Lanatus. Oh, they were trying to, I think, tee up their Branded Fusion there, but we had the Ash Blossom anyway. Oh, that's disgusting. We didn't even need the voiceless negate. Oh, we're going to use it against the Alba Lanatus, though. That definitely makes sense. They get to Retribution for the Branded Fusion, but that super just doesn't matter anymore. And they are mega dead to what we have on board right here. Oh, that's good. I guess, yeah, looking at their hand, their play does make sense. They need to get the Saronir into the yard to be able to tee up their Retribution play. I guess, I don't know, it is still a little bit weird to me. Oh, they sent the Retribution from hand with the Albion. I see. That's why it's special summoned as well. Okay. Well, in any case, that definitely showcased exactly how well Ryug can slide into the voiceless strategy. Which, I didn't even think about that, but yeah, Mistva is a light dragon ritual monster, meaning it ticks all the necessary boxes to be used for that. So there we go. Good stuff. All right. Thank you so much, Alnick, as well as everybody else who submitted. Definitely appreciate all the submissions, as without those, we could not do this series, and it is one of my favorites. So I really do, really do just appreciate the engagement with the series, and, you know, also watching the video all the way to the end like this. Very helpful for small content creators like myself. In any case, that's going to go ahead and do it. Let's move on to our outro. Hey everybody, Hexlex here. Thank you so very much for watching all the way to the very end of the video, which, by the way, is one of the best ways to support the channel. Speaking of supporting the channel, take a look at the names on screen. These are folks who have been so generous as to either join as a YouTube member or subscribe over on patreon.com/Hexlex to support. There's also perks for doing so. If you would like to see YouTube videos early, as well as some exclusive videos that get uploaded to YouTube, but for one reason or another I decide not to publish, definitely go ahead and hit that join button to see content early, as well as some exclusive content. If you're looking for more exclusive content, over on patreon.com, I upload exclusive videos that are not posted on YouTube just about every single day. Whether you choose to subscribe over on Patreon, join as a YouTube member, or simply continue to watch, your support is greatly appreciated. Thank you so very much. But for now, this is Hexlex. I am signing out, and I hope that you have a fantastic day.